feel very called to become a member of the Catholic Church.
Love the Catholic Church. It's just the best place to be.
From the studios of EWTN, this is Open Line. In North America, call toll-free 1-800-585-9396. That's 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985. You can also send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
A blessed Tuesday in the second week of Advent to each and every one of you. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to join us here on EWTN's Open Line Tuesday. We talk the life issues on Tuesdays. Normally, our pro-life warrior extraordinaire, Barbara McGuigan, is in the house, but Barbara is tending to some matters around the homestead there in Southern California. But fear not, we have a more than ample substitute for Barbara McGuigan today, and we will introduce her in just one moment. If you'd like to be on the program, the number's 1-800-585-9396. It's toll-free anywhere in North America, 1-800-585-9396. If you're outside the United States and Canada, your number is 1-205-271-2985. Human life is sacred everywhere on the planet. Give us a call at 1-205-271-2985. You can send us an email, openline@ewtn.com, or you can text your question. Text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response. Text your first name and your question, message, and data rates may apply. We also are available on Facebook Live and YouTube. Go to the EWTN Radio YouTube or Facebook pages, and you can type your question in there, and we will get that out here on the program today. I'm Jack Williams. Michael McCall producing the program. Your call screener is Mr. Matt Gubensky, and Jeff Burson is handling all of our social media endeavors. As he said, Barbara is out today, but fear not, because very capably stepping in at the last minute, I might add, thank you very much, in a personal milestone moment, potentially as well, stepping in, is Janet. I don't know what your title is exactly. You're the co-founder, president, chief cook, and bottle washer of both Priests for Life and the Silent No More Awareness campaign, if I'm not mistaken. And Janet Morana is with us. Janet, thank you so much for leaving the birth of your 34th grandchild to be with us on Open Line.
Well, thank you. And first of all, I am here also in Southern California where Barbara lives. I'm actually in the home of my daughter, Terrell, and her husband, Craig, in Calabasas, California. And my daughter has one grandbaby already. She's Vivian Rose, and she's 2 years old. And so Nana has been delightfully been here since before Thanksgiving, because Tara Lynn was due with their second child to arrive December 1st or before. So Nana was here, before Thanksgiving, figuring, all right, a few days before, a few days after. Well, here we are. She's 12 days overdue today.
Wow.
Still waiting for Evelyn, Leah will be her name, to enter the world. And we just can't wait. So just now, Tara, she's a trooper. She's out for a little walk with Vivian nearby.
That's what you do. That's what you do in these moments,
come back
right?
in after the radio show so that Vivian won't want to get on the air. She's very feisty, my 2-year-old there.
Well,
she being a nana is just so wonderful. Besides being, like you said, chief cook and bottle washer for Priests for Life, I'm the executive director. I co-founded the Silent No More Awareness campaign. I also, as you know, co-hosted the Defending Life scene on EWTN. I co-host the Catholic View for Women on, EWTN. But the thing that brings me the most joy is, once you raise your own kids, I have 3 daughters all married and grown. The grandbabies, I think, are the grand treasures of your life. They are just absolutely amazing, and I just relish every moment to have with my grandchildren. I have 2 other grandchildren up in New York. I have Lily Grace Poyard and Lucas James Poyard, and actually Lucas, it's a funny story, his birthday is on the Immaculate Conception, December 8th. So he was praying that his new cousin was not going to be born on his birthday because he didn't want to share his birthday. So Lucas was praying for no baby on December 8th. So Lucas got his wish, and
now I bet your wish is that she will be born on the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, huh?
Yeah, so Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, I think, would be a beautiful day, and it's another Mary feast. And actually, Tara Lynn was very close to her grandmother, and her grandmother's name was Mary. So I think maybe, Jack, the planets are lining up that maybe by the time I'm off the air, the labor pains will start, and we'll get to the hospital. So
that would be
and actually, we're going to a beautiful Catholic hospital in Santa Monica, St. John's.
Oh.
So we're all set, and so it is a very pro-life moment here.
Absolutely.
And, I have to say, I was in the delivery room for Vivian Rose, and it's just amazing opportunity like that, to be there and watch your daughter giving birth to her daughter. It was just, it is so special. And I think maybe if you say, when you think about abortion, so many children's lives are being snuffed out every day in our country, and then you look at watching the birth of a child is so miraculous and beautiful. You say, what is wrong in our country? And which kind of brings me, Jack, to a topic I kind of wanted to touch on for our listeners, just because I want to raise awareness, because they're going to be hearing a lot about this come January. As you know, there's that pain-capable bill that was passed in the House. It's now in the Senate, and from all indications we hear is that the Senate is going to vote on this sometime before the March for Life. Is kind of, so sometime in January it's going to come up for a vote. And unfortunately, as you know, there are many, both people in the House and in the Senate, who think that this bill should be defeated, that we shouldn't protect. First of all, let's get it straight from this get-go. We want to protect every baby, right? From the moment of conception, that's it. But, sometimes, and as St. John Paul II said in Evangelium Vitae, we have to pass incremental legislation, because if we have an opportunity to save some of these lives, we're going to save some of them if we can't save them all immediately. So even St. John Paul II pointed out in Evangelium Vitae that this is a good approach to take. It makes the most sense, And so people might be scratching their heads saying, come on, Janet, really? I thought abortion only happens in the first trimester in the United States. And I'm like, no, sorry. Through all 9 months, healthy babies, healthy mothers. And the project, Jack, that Priest for Life is working diligently on is exposing late-term abortion, here in our country. And we're working very closely with a group called Abortion Free New Mexico. And our dear friend, Tara Shaver, is one of our people who has made some phone calls. She has made phone calls to abortion mills in New Mexico, Colorado, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Washington State, California, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. And what she has done by these phone calls, which we have recorded, legally, by the way, this is all legal activity, but we've recorded phone calls, Jack, where she has posed to be pregnant anywhere from 20 to 33 weeks. And she was never turned away. They gave her appointments to kill these babies.
Did we hear that?
Never. Never turned away. Okay? Never. I mean, this is outrageous. Here's one of the quotes of one of the instances. Tara called Lee Roy Carhart's abortion business in Maryland, and now Lee Carhart is the famous, infamous, horrible abortionist who has done late-term abortions for decades. Okay, and Tara was told, she said to the person answering the phone, "I'm 26 weeks pregnant. I'm healthy, but I just can't have this baby. Things have happened in my circumstances. I just can't have this baby. And can I have an abortion?" And this is what they told her. "Oh, it's okay. Of course we're going to schedule you. We'll schedule you for next week." And they're giving her a date. They said, "It's not a viable pregnancy at 26 weeks. This is what they told her. When in fact, the fact, Jack, is 90% of babies born at 26 weeks survive. They survive. And here this abortion mill tells Tara, sorry, but don't worry about it. But with 26 weeks, they're not viable. Now, this is outright lying, isn't this? And the fact, they gave her an appointment to kill that baby the following week, so the baby would have been 27 weeks.
Right.
And they were fully A-OK, ready, and willing to kill that child. Shocking, right, Jack?
It's shocking, and these are the things that are going on, and these are the things we want to hear. We want you rather to chime in on these topics today. The number to be on the program, 1-800-585 9396 is our toll-free number. Janet Morana from Priest for Life and the Silent No More Awareness Campaign sitting in today for Barbara McGuigan on EWTN's Open Line Tuesday.
Hello, this is Father John Paul Mary.
This is Jerry Usher, co-host of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
This is Bishop John Folda of the Diocese of Fargo. Have a blessed Advent from all of us at EWTN Radio.
Dr. Ray Guarendi.
And I look at myself in the mirror and I think, well, where's the young guy? Where'd he go? What's wrong with this mirror, honey? My temptation is to focus on what I've lost. But as I think back on it, in my youth, I did not ponder the stuff of faith like I do now. But what I've gained is, I believe, a closer relationship with Christ.
The Doctor is in with Ray Guarendi. Weekdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
CNA is the only fast, reliable, and free Catholic news source that brings blogs, stories, and opinions to your fingertips. The latest Catholic news is at CatholicNewsAgency.com, an online service from EWTN News.
Christ is the answer, with Father John Riccardo.
John chapter 11, verses 21 to 26. This is the story of Lazarus. Lazarus has died. Lazarus is one of his best friends. Just before this passage, we hear the news that Martha and Mary send word to Jesus that the one you love is sick. And the next line in the scripture is, now because Jesus loved Martha and Mary and Lazarus, he stayed where he was. His friend's in need. He can heal. They've seen him heal before. And yet somehow, because he loves him, he stays. And Lazarus dies. And then Jesus shows up 3 days later and is greeted by Martha and Mary, who confront him with the words, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would never have died. Rather applicable for many of us in our lives. We ask the Lord to do one thing because we're certain it is what we think is best, when in fact he has something which far surpasses what we asked for. The challenge is, in waiting for that to happen, we go through very trying times, which oftentimes makes us wonder, does he really care?
This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
Janet Morana from Priest for Life and the Silent No More Awareness Campaign sitting in today for Barbara McGuigan. We're talking the life issues here on EWTN's Open Line Tuesday. That number to be on the program, 1-800-585-9396, toll free anywhere in North America, 1-800-585-9396. And you know, Janet, we're talking about the pain-capable bill that is likely to come up for vote in the Senate prior to the March for Life. And I think most of the pro-life people that I have associated with, and this is clearly a large number of folks, but one of the milestone events for them, and one of the things that really makes an impression on them, is their first trip to the March for Life in Washington, D.C. And I think a lot of them, prior to attending the march, have got similar questions. And Brian in Dayton, Ohio is on the phone, and he's got a question that I know a lot of our listeners who have never been to the March for Life, I know for a fact they have this question. Brian, you're on with Janet Morana.
Hi,
Brian.
So I'm coming to the March for Life, and I always hear about all these other events that are going on. And, you know, a lot of people I know go just for the march itself, but like, if we want to come for a couple of days, are there other protests, masses, different things to get involved with? I know Priest for Life apparently does a lot of stuff, so I was wondering if you could tell us about maybe some of the other opportunities to be active at the March for Life.
Well, sure, Brian. Of course, I call it the Super Bowl of the pro-life movement, really, to be in Washington in those days. And, of course, at the Marriott Marquis Hotel is where the March for Life holds their convention, which will begin on Thursday. The convention is all day. Matter of fact, Father Frank and I are going to be speaking at the Law of Life Summit that afternoon right at the Marriott Marquis. But that morning, there's going to be a big prayerful witness outside the mega abortion mill that was constructed right there in D.C., and so that's a great event to be at. It will be prayerful witness. There'll be women there from Silent No More. Brian Kemper of our youth outreach will be there, Father Pavone, Father Stephen Imbarano, and other pro-life leaders as they lead everyone in a prayerful witness outside that killing center. And then, of course, there's the big Mass at the Basilica on Thursday evening, and there's also another prayer service after the Basilica Mass back at the Marriott Marquis Interdenominational Prayer Service. And, of course, a big highlight is the morning of the March for Life. You can get warm and cozy, even if it's cold outside. You can come to DAR, Constitution Hall. There'll be a Mass there at 7:30 in the morning, followed by the interdenominational prayer service at 8:30, and the Benham brothers are going to be our key speakers, and other awards and preaching will happen that morning, along with Father Pavone giving a keynote homily there. And then, of course, you'll finish up there in time to get on the mall at noon for the rally and the march, marching up Constitution Avenue to the Supreme Court, where I will be there with the women and men and family members from Silent No More, where they will give testimony. So it's an action-packed few days. It's amazing to see so many young people, and I encourage everyone, if you can get to Washington, by all means do so, because you truly, truly will be inspired to go home and do something to end preborn child killing here in the United States of America. So thank you for your question, Brian, and I hope to see you maybe in D.C., okay?
Is there going to be like you said, a convention? There'll be booths and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. When the March for Life has their convention, there's a huge exhibit area. Priest for Life will be exhibiting there, and Stand True, which is our youth ministry. They have the best pro-life T-shirts. If you wanted the latest and greatest T-shirts, you got to come to our booth. But there must be at least 30 to 40 booths of vendors that have great pro-life information, books, literature, and of course I'll be there autographing and signing my brand new book called Shockwaves, which shows the effect of abortion on all the people groups affected. Kevin Burke from Rachel's Vineyard will be there autographing his new book, Tears of the Fisherman, and there'll just be so many people that you can meet even milling around that exhibit area. So like I said, to me it's like the Super Bowl of the pro-life movement coming to the March for Life. So there's a lot going on.
How does that?
I hope to see you there. Okay.
How does that do for you, Brian?
Well, I'll be there to buy that new book. I can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks for the phone call, Brian. We appreciate it. The number again, 1-800-585-9396. It's toll free anywhere in North America. 1-800-585-9396. You know, we've got the Christmas season coming up, Janet, and then January right around the corner. We never, ever seem to have a whole lot of trouble drumming up interest in the pro-life movement during the month of January and even into early February, when excitement is at a high, enthusiasm is at a high, all surrounding the March for Life. But as we move further into February and get into the spring, all too often a lot of our enthusiasm wanes. Talk a little bit about the importance of the sanctity of human life 12 months out of the year, not just during the big event.
Well, of course it is. I mean, you know, unfortunately, I deal a lot, as you know, Jack, with the aftermath of abortion. I see the women who've been devastated after that abortion, the other family members, the dad, the grandparents, and all that through my work with Rachel's Vineyard and Silent No More. And what people have to realize is, you know, babies are being killed every single day in our country. So we need to be vigilant every single day to do something to try to save unborn children from abortion. And there's so much activity that is happening all year round, whether it's you could be volunteering at a pregnancy help resource center. Maybe you're willing to go with someone and pray outside an abortion mill. And not just during 40 Days for Life, though. It's like kind of like what you're saying, Jack, every day, or commit once a week. Instead of saying that rosary in the privacy of your own home, go with a few friends and say a rosary outside an abortion mill, because guess what? Lives are changed, and so I can tell you...
Hey, guess what, Janet? Including the lives of the people that are praying the rosary.
Exactly. I mean, I became so convicted on this issue, Jack, years ago, I went to what in those days was called a rescue. This was all the way back in 1990 with Father Pavone. We were not the rescuers. We were asked to come and pray and counsel women who were coming to the abortion mill that morning, while others were, going to blockade and do what they had to do. I'm telling you, Jack, when I saw women, young girls coming with visible baby bumps to head to that mill to destroy the life of their child, for me, it's like a steel door closed behind me, and I said, I can't go back. I have got to do everything I can to help stop this, to stop women who think they have no other choice than to kill that child. I mean, when you listen to the testimonies of the women from Silent No More, and I want to encourage listeners, you could just go to our website, silentnomore.com, or just the simple URL, abortiontestimony.com, where we have the largest search engine, Jack, of testimonies of women who have been damaged from abortion. You could read these stories. These are not women who marched into that abortion clinic proud as punch to go in there and destroy the life of the child. These are women who felt they had no other choice. What happens to women really who are going in for abortion, by and far, most of them, they've lost hope. They are desperate. They have despaired. Whatever the circumstances in their lives are, they've been abandoned many times by a boyfriend. And I can introduce you to women who were told by husbands, "We already have 3 children. We can't afford it anymore. If you don't have the abortion, I'm going to leave you." Can you imagine that? I mean, this is not about a real freedom of choice. This is about women who felt they had no options and they had no choice. And so we need to be reaching out in any way we can to do something, to reach them, or to volunteer or something to help stop the killing of these children and the damaging of the women and families.
Michael's watching on YouTube, and he says, praise God that David Daleiden has forced the Department of Justice to investigate Planned Parenthood.
Absolutely, and I say praise God, too. Well, Father Pavone has a saying, he always says, you can't practice vice virtuously. And so this investigation of Planned Parenthood is going to show what a terrible, unscrupulous organization they really are. And thank God, elections have consequences, because if we didn't have President Trump in the White House, we would not be having an investigation happening right now, because it's, policy is personnel, personnel is policy, and it's because of President Trump and putting in the right people in all these different positions that's happening. And also, too, Jack, I don't know if your listeners realize that the HHS mandate case which is Priests for Life and the Little Sisters and everyone and that whole Supreme Court thing has been settled. The government has now settled with us, all of us, which meant EWTN is now off the hook, and all the other organizations that also had lawsuits in the lower courts percolating up there. So, like I said, elections do have consequences, and praise God that Planned Parenthood is finally going to be put a little fire under them to see the corruption that's going on.
Well, and I think it'll be, it's interesting. One thing that Jim Sedlak from Stop Planned Parenthood would speak of frequently is the notion that we could even consider Planned Parenthood to be a healthcare organization. Right. He points out so astutely that you enter a healthcare facility when your body is not functioning properly in order to get it to function properly. The exact opposite is true of a Planned Parenthood facility.
That's right. And try going to a Planned Parenthood facility and ask if, after they give the pregnancy test and say that you're pregnant and you don't want an abortion, see if they're going to help you have that baby and bring it to term. Absolutely not. They only sell abortion. That's it. They don't help you in any other way. So I'm telling you. But, Jack, I want to read another quote just to show how outlandish this late-term abortion stuff is, and this is why we need this bill passed, for this pain-capable bill. But here's one where Tara, the same girl, was, she said to the abortionist, she said at Southwestern Abortion Mill, she said, abortionists at Southwestern get to decide the cutoff dates for abortion, although the facility will do third trimester. It's a matter of how comfortable the doctor feels, is what the receptionist told Tara. She was questioning, how far along would I be? At the same facility at Southwestern, babies who are killed because they have a fetal anomaly are picked up by a funeral home for cremation. Babies killed for no reason at all are incinerated with medical waste. Unbelievable?
Heartbreaking is what it is.
It is. It's heartbreaking. And here's to show the criminal activity they hide and sweep under the carpet. Again, now, same girl, Tara, called. She was posing as a 16-year-old who was impregnated by an older family member. And Tara was told by the Southwestern Stafford that New Mexico has no parental notification laws and that she might be able to have the abortion of her 26-week baby paid for by Medicaid. The Stafford does not say anything about reporting the crime of statutory rape to the authorities. Unbelievable, Jack.
Absolutely unbelievable. And by and large, most of America, a lot of American citizens are not aware of it. This is actually going on, and the word needs to be circulated a little more widely than it is. The number to be on the program today, Janet Morana sitting in for Barbara McGuigan, 1-800-585-9396, toll free anywhere in North America, 1-800-585-9396. If you're outside the United States and Canada, we'd love to hear from you. Your number is 1-205-271-2985. And we will put you straight to the front of the line. EWTN's Open Line Tuesday. Janet Morana sitting in for Barbara McGuigan.
Most reality TV leaves out half of reality, the faith that drives us from within. We're giving you the whole picture, real life and faith.
Chris Stefanik is on a journey to uncover the bold, courageous Catholic faith found in the hearts of people all over the world. Meet the everyday Catholics who inspire him as they show the world how amazing faith makes everyday life. Real Life Catholic, Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern on EWTN TV.
Hey, this is Doug Keck, and welcome to this Bookmark Brief. Our guest is Jeff Cavins, whose wife, along with several other women, has written a book called A Walk Through the Catholic Bible. And Emily is one of the contributors to one of the four who's contributing. And we figured while we were here, we'll just ask you to give us a synopsis.
Sure. Well, Gen to Rev storybook, A Walk Through the Catholic Bible, is a way for parents to read the Bible to their children so that they get the narrative of salvation history. It takes about 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 6 months. You'll go through the basic storyline of the Bible. You'll read from a real Bible, go back to the storybook and get a synopsis of that day's reading at a 4th grade level. And in the margins, we have icons, and that tells you where everything Catholic comes from.
Okay, very good, Jeff. The title, A Walk Through the Catholic Bible. Jeff's beautiful wife, Emily, was involved with this. And thank you so much for joining us here on this Bookmark Brief.
Hi, this is Trent Horn from Catholic Answers Live. Some skeptics ask, how could a virgin give birth to the Son of God? Without God's intervention, she couldn't. But if God were powerful enough to make a universe from nothing, then why reject his ability to become man in the womb of his mother Mary? This Christmas, let's pray for skeptics to encounter the real reason for the season, our God and Savior, Jesus Christ.
This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, on this Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, nothing more closely aligned to our discussion here with Janet Morana of Priests for Life and the Silent No More Awareness Campaign. Tonight on Mother Angelica Live Classics on EWTN Radio and Television, Mother talks about regret, remorse, and sorrow. She discusses the various aspects of regret, remorse, and sorrow and how they can be deadly, and they can, if applied properly, be fruitful. That's tonight, Mother Angelica Live Classics, 8 Eastern on EWTN Radio and Television. And I don't know if you dip into any of the old Mother Angelica programs, Janet, but she gives these messages that she could have recorded this show yesterday. And some of these things are 30 years old. It's amazing.
Well, I'll tell you, I could never get enough of Mother Angelica, and I really feel privileged to have been coming to the network during those years where Mother was there, around.
Right.
It's kind of I still used to pinch myself every time I got to see Mother and talk to her, and she was always so funny, but also at the same time very serious and giving such great advice. And a funny story I remember when she first bought that land, out in Hansfeld to build the shrine out there. I remember she was on the air. She had just finished a live show with Father Pavone, and I was in the audience, and I came off to the side, where that reception area is, and that's where she used to enter to go back into the cloister with the sisters. And so she was standing there, and she started chatting with me, and she was showing me pictures of the land that they had just purchased. And I said, well, Mother, it looks like it's all farmland, and why would you want to go so far from the network? And she, with this big grin on her face, she went, well, Janet, the cell phone signal out there is real bad. And she chuckled and laughed. This way they're going to have to pay attention to Jesus, she went.
Hey, guess,
she was going to have that, the
guess
giant
what?
monsters,
Yeah, the cell phone signal is still bad.
Huh?
The cell phone signal is still bad out there.
It's still bad. And so when I'm out there and I get no bar, no service, one bar, I look up in the heavens and I say, okay, Mother, I got it. I'm not supposed to be looking at my cell phone. I'm supposed to go inside and adore Jesus. Got it. Earth to Mother, Mother to Earth.
There you go. The number to be on the program today. Yes. Exactly. 1-800-585-9396. Janet Morana of the Silent No More Awareness Campaign and Priests for Life. You also see Janet on EWTN television on the Catholic View for Women with Teresa Tamio and now Elena Rodriguez stepping into that spot as Astrid Bennett Gutierrez has moved on to the Spanish language version of A Catholic View for Women. And what's the exact title of the pro-life show? It's not Pro-Life Weekly. That's the other show.
Oh, you mean the Spanish one?
No, yours.
Defending Life.
Defending Life.
The Defending Life series. Yeah.
That's right.
Defending
Life. You can't swing a dead cat around here without hitting Janet Morana. So she's
well, I don't know about that, but like I said, to me it's a privilege, and I want to encourage any of your listeners, if they have not been down to visit the network and been out to Hands Full, you got to put that on your list for 2018. It's just an amazing experience. And like I said, I feel, Jack, so privileged that I've had this opportunity over the years, especially to be there when Mother walked around. But it's a beautiful thing to go out to Hansville. You could really spend a whole day out there on retreat. Besides, of course, adoring Jesus and the Blessed Sacrament there all day long. There's just so many things to see, and I love the gift shop. I mean, ladies, you like to shop? The gift shop out there in St. Michael's Castle is gorgeous. So I really encourage people to be in touch with the EWTN's Pilgrimage Department and see about coming down with your family. It's a great thing to put on your bucket list maybe for 2018 to make that happen. And, of course, I'll be there to tape another series in March for Defending Life, and Teresa and I will be there in June, and you could check with the Pilgrimage Department. They can get you the dates if you want to come on down when we're filming. We'll let you come into the studio and watch us tape an episode and say hi to you. So it's a great opportunity, really it is, Jack.
1-800-585-9396. Plenty of time for your phone calls for Janet Morana. 1-800-585-9396. Janet, one thing that we hear quite frequently as we, again, turn our focus towards the March for Life coming up later next month is the accusation from our anti-life adversaries that we turn everything in the political spectrum into a one-issue conversation. Your thoughts on that notion?
Well, let's put it this way. We have to be born first before we have the other issues, right? So if we protect life, then we can worry about if that child is here, well, what's the health care plan? What's the education plan? What's your housing plan? But at first, we have to let them be born first. When you say so, I always see the life issue as the foundation. And, the United States bishops did a really great job at pointed this out to people in their document called Living the Gospel of Life, which they actually put out back in 1998, but it has, like Mother Angelica, it has the same wisdom today. And they described it like the abortion and euthanasia are like the foundation of the house. And all the other issues, while important, are like the walls and the cross beams and the windows and the chimneys. So that would be like housing, education, like I said. All these other things are important. But you have to have that foundation built. You could build the house if the foundation is strong. So if you're protecting life first, then you can take care of the other issues. So That's kind of how I like to explain it. And it's not that we don't care about the other issues, but we're focusing on totally protecting human life. Now, it's kind of like, would you ask the American Heart Association, why aren't they worried about stopping lung cancer? Well, that's another group to do that. You know what I'm saying? So when you accuse us of being single issue, I say, no, we're working on the foundational issue by which all the other issues flow. So how do you like that? Does that kind of answer the question?
That absolutely answers the question. No question about it. 1-800-585-9396. Once again, we're on YouTube and Facebook as well. Go to the EWTN Radio YouTube channel or Facebook Live page, and we can take your comments straight from those sources as well and get them to Janet Morana, sitting in today for Barbara McGuigan. 1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. You know, it's, as we mentioned earlier, it's a very uplifting event, a tremendous event, the March for Life in Washington, D.C. The March for Life has a very, very, I think you would agree, Janet, a very Catholic flavor about it. You have groups all over the place praying the rosary. You see images of Our Lady all over the place. And it's really, it makes me take a step back often and think to myself, how large would this be if we had a proportionate response from our evangelical brothers and sisters in regard to this particular event? Talk a little bit about the proportionality of this and how we really need our evangelical brothers and sisters to stand alongside of us in this effort.
Yeah. Well, I can say, you know, like you said, majority is Catholic, and I've been coming, oh my goodness, to the march. My first march was all the way back in 1990, so that's how long I've been coming to the March for Life. And I have to say, it is majority, especially back then, was all Catholic, I would say, with a handful. But I have seen, Jack, over the years now, it grow. Like, for example, I co-founded the Silent No More Awareness campaign with Georgette Forney, who's the president of Anglicans for Life. Well, Anglicans for Life now has their own conference over in Virginia, and they march as a group now as part of the March for Life. And I've seen more and more Lutherans for Life now are marching, and there's other denominations now getting involved. And, you know, Father Pavone heads up the National Pro-Life Religious Council, and they are the ones who sponsor, as I mentioned when that gentleman was on the call, the prayer service that's in DAR Constitution Hall. Well, that's being sponsored by the National Pro-Life Religious Council, which is made up of about 10 different denominations that come together as a board and do activities throughout the year to save the unborn. So I would say we're getting more and more every year of our other denominations, of our other brothers and sisters in the Lord. And I think we just have to keep getting the word out, because there are so many people out there that, well, I always say, Jack, if everyone who believed in the Lord Jesus Christ and professed belief in Him would not tolerate abortion, this whole deal would be gone and over with. So we have to still educate the churches. But you know what? The Catholic Church can't get away scot-free either, because there's so many churches, as you know, Jack, who you don't hear a boo from the pulpit about these issues, about abortion. Maybe they'll do it on Sanctity of Life Sunday, and then, as you just said before, nothing else happens for the rest of the year. You know, this has to be something that we're educating people with all year round. And so many of the women from Silent No More who had abortions had said, I never heard that this was wrong, and if it's illegal, it gives permission. I wish I had heard this in my church. I wish someone had said to me, abortion is a sin, abortion is wrong. You know, so we also, I think, as a church, have to take responsibility for the fact that our silence in the pulpit has also led to the tragedy of abortion.
1-800.
And that's why we have Priests for Life. And, Jack, that's why we have Priests for Life.
That's exactly right.
Because we're helping the priests to say so, right?
I mean, what did this talk just a little bit about what this organization looked like when you and Father Pavone at your little parish in New York got this thing off the ground, and compared to what it looks like now?
Oh, my goodness. You know, first of all, I was a full-time public school teacher. And, Jack, if you would have told me back then that I would have written now my second book, hosting 2 TV shows, even talking on the radio to you, I would have said you have lost your mind. You know, in college, one of the courses I hated the most and feared the most was speech class. Believe it or not. You know, and so, you know, Father Pavone was ordained by Cardinal O'Connor. As a matter of fact, next year we have a huge thing happening with us at Priest for Life. Father Pavone celebrates his 30th anniversary of priestly ordination, and we also have his 25th anniversary of leading and heading up Priests for Life. And so it's pretty exciting for us next year. And, of course, we've moved our headquarters from Staten Island, New York, to Titusville, Florida. We are now 100% down in Florida. And so all the Floridians down there who are listening to EWTN Radio, Janet would love to see you come by our Titusville office. Just give me a shout-out at janet@priestforlife.org, and I'd love to take you out to lunch. Come and visit me. So maybe I'll have a lot of people coming to visit me now, Jack. It's a lot warmer for those up north. Come down to see me. But, when we first started, it was Father Pavone, and Cardinal O'Connor gave him permission, to be the first full-time director, because actually Priests for Life was founded, so I get the story straight, in California by 3 priests under Archbishop Quinn. And they were kind of, doing this part-time. They were full-time in parishes. And they wanted a priest to take it on full-time. That was their hope and prayer. And they heard of Father Pavone, who was a member of the organization, and they asked him, would you be willing to be the first full-time director of Priests for Life? And he asked Cardinal O'Connor, and the rest is basic history, that he gave him that permission, and that was back in 1993. And he left St. Charles Parish, which is my parish on Staten Island. And I said, bye, Father, and, if you need me, just give me a call. And I got a call a few days later, and next thing I know, literature was coming to my basement, and we started with the Corps of Volunteers in my basement, processing orders to go out, and gradually Anthony DeStefano, who's also been on EWTN with his beautiful books he writes, he gave up his job and came to work with Father. And I stayed still teaching for about till 2000. I volunteered for Father through those next 7 years. And then in 2000, I left teaching because the ministry was growing, and I just couldn't juggle both. And my daughters were getting older now and going off on their own. So I left full-time public school teaching and became the executive director of Priests for Life. And, of course, the ministry keeps growing. Dr. Alveda King heads up our civil rights for the unborn. We have Brian Kempa heads up our Stand True Youth Outreach. We have, of course, Rachel's Vineyard is a ministry of Priests for Life with Kevin Burke and Teresa Burke are the founders of that ministry, which is all under the umbrella now of Priests for Life. And Marie Smith heads up our parliamentary network for critical issues. Priests for Life is an NGO at the UN, so we work on international things. I'm telling you, Jack, if you had asked me back in 1993, would this be how possible? I would tell you impossible, but as they say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Well, my plans weren't to go very far or do too much. I was just willing to help this priest, end abortion, so I thought, and here we go. And I never thought I would co-found with Georgette the Silent No More campaign, but over the years, watching the pain of women and watching the other side acting like they're speaking for all women, I felt compelled to help the women who were hurt and healed to get a voice, so, and write a book. I never thought. I wrote my first book, Recall Abortion, which, of course, Doug Keck had me on bookmark, and now my second book is launching in January called Shockwaves, which is healing the wider circle of victims from abortion. So, I don't know, it's it's been some adventure, I have to say. And I should have said this at the beginning of the show, Jack. If anyone called in, I would love to send them my books, both of them, as a gift. So if the little time we have left, if anyone calls in, I'll send them a free book. How's that, Jack? Okay?
The number's
one more thing.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, give the phone number so they can call.
It's 1-800-585-939. You're too excited for your own good, Morana. 1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. Go ahead.
No, I just want to remind them, if they were, those things I was reading about the late-term abortion, this project at Priests for Life, they can just go to our website, priestsforlife.org/late-term abortion. That's the link, priestsforlife.org/late-term abortion. You can listen to all these phone calls yourself. And then, if you want to do something, you want to kind of get into action, stopabortionnow.org or stopabortionnow.com, and that's where we'll have all the action steps of how you can contact your senators with this vote coming up in January. Just call your senator. You don't have to call Washington. Call your senators in their local office in your state and tell them that you want them to vote in favor of this pain-capable bill so that children will be protected from being aborted if they can feel pain.
That number again, 1-800-585-9396. Speaking of books, EWTN newest EWTN Publishing's newest offering is Saints versus Scoundrels. Great book by Dr. Ben Weicker, the basis of a series, a very popular TV series here on EWTN. It's written in a debate-style format. You've got people squaring off, such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau debating St. Augustine, Friedrich Nietzsche debating Edith Stein, Henry VIII debating St. Thomas More. That would be compelling. But all sorts of various matchups like that through the course of church and salvation history. Just a beautiful gift even at Christmas time, and it's available now at EWTNRC.com. And now through Friday, December 15th is the last day, free standard shipping on all online orders only of more than $100 at EWTN Religious Catalog. So visit EWTNRC.com. Nothing will light up the phone lines like free stuff, and that's what's happened here as we are now full on the phone bank. Our first caller is Joanne. She's in the great state of North Carolina listening to Wilmington Catholic Radio. Joanne, I'm not going to say anything about your motives, but thank you for calling.
Oh,
hi, Joanne.
Hi. I'm trying to get to do in January my very first March for Life in Washington, D.C. I'm trying to get that accomplished, but I'm also interested to find out if I can't get to D.C., how do I find out where my local or my state March for Life would be? I know with our church, we did one right here in Wilmington, and it was excellent. There were a number of parishes that showed up for that, but I'm adventurous and I'm ready to go to the next scale on this.
Yeah. Okay, well, you said you're in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I believe in Charlotte they do have something, but I'm not 100% sure. The best thing to do would be to Google March for Life, North Carolina, and you should get the group that's kind of going to do something would kind of come up on your Google search. But do try to come to the March for Life if you can, because nothing is more inspiring than to seeing all the people. And, of course, come to the Supreme Court and hear the testimonies of the women from Silent No More, because it is life-changing. So many people have said that attending the March for Life really changed their lives.
So it's more. There's a whole agenda. It's the march itself, but then there's other activities we can participate in as well.
That's correct. And yes, and if you're going to reserve a hotel, the March for Life convention itself is at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. I think the blocks of rooms are still available till the end of December. So you can go to the March for Life's website, marchforlife.org. And they list all the activities, which I have been mentioning on the program. They'll mention the Silent No More. They mention the prayer service in Constitution Hall. And they'll mention even other hotels, even if the Marriott Marquis is sold out, and the different events that are going on. And, of course, you can go to our Priest for Life website, because we always are updating all the activities that we will be participating in the March for Life. And before you hang up, make sure that they get your address so I can send you books as a gift to say a little Merry Christmas ahead of time. How's that?
Thank you. I was actually going to ask if you have someone to outreach a pair of hands in this area for your organization in our area. So there you go. If there's anything I could do.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll get your information, and I'll be in touch. How's that?
Awesome. Thanks, Joanne. We really appreciate that phone call. The number again, 1-800-585-9396. Next up is Colleen. She is in Stuart, Florida, listening to EWTN Radio on WJPP. Colleen, you're on with Janet Morana.
Hi, Janet.
Hi, Colleen. Hi.
This is my first time making a phone call, I think, but I listen to EWTN probably 8 hours a day. And we actually started a radio station, Catholic Radio in West Palm Beach, 98.3 FM.
Catholic Radio for the Palm Beaches.
Yes, yes. And I will call my senators, my representatives, regarding the Paying Capable Act. Do you know when that's going to be voted on?
They're saying they're going to bring it to a vote in January. Our guess is they're going to try and do it sometime before the March for Life. They haven't put an exact date on the calendar yet, but you can start weighing in from now and then get other people you know to call. And it's more important, by the way, to call their local office there in Florida as opposed to D.C. And just so everyone understands, what happens is every phone call, every email, every letter is logged by their staff, and they're asked what issue are they calling about and why. So it's urgent right now for you to kind of rally people to call their office and say, we want you to vote in favor of the pain-capable bill. We want to protect these babies that feel pain from abortion. And, of course, there in Florida, you have two senators, and one's pro-life and one's not. So you know who you have to put the pressure on, right? Right?
Yes, I know Nelson. He's been in there a long time.
And the other thing, too, about Nelson is you can put more pressure on him is because he's up for re-election, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And nothing can make him listen more about to his voters now than the fact that he's up for re-election. And, you could just say plain out, if he's not going to protect unborn children from pain, then I'm not going to vote for him again. I'm not going to vote for him in November. Votes bring pain or pleasure to them, whether they get the votes or not. So it's a perfect opportunity now to really put pressure on the Senate to do the right thing and save these children, from abortion, at least from a 20-week ban. Of course, the ultimate goal is everybody, but at least if we could save from the 20-week ban on, we would be saving a lot of babies. So thank you for your work, and if you come up to Titusville, you have to stop by our Priest for Life office and visit us, okay?
Cape Canaveral.
No, we're in Titusville, Florida, okay?
Yeah, I know you are, but Cape Canaveral is also on the East Coast.
Yes, I know.
Okay, I just wondered how far Titusville was from...
Oh, Titusville is right by the Kennedy Space Center. It's not far.
Okay.
So you should come and visit us. Call our office. Our toll-free, our local number is 321, everyone can listen to this, 321-500-1000. Call our office and come and see Janet, and anyone who visits, I always give them free books, too. So either you call it on the radio or you come and see me. I always give you a free book. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Colleen. We appreciate the phone call. Really quickly, we'll head to Lorraine in Mobile, Alabama, listening on Archangel Radio. Just about a minute and a half left with Janet Morana. Lorraine.
Hello there.
Hi, Lorraine.
Yes. I'm very interested in the March for Life and to take abortions.
How would Lorraine get her church involved, Janet? What's a good way to do that?
Well, I don't know if they have a Respect Life committee, but they could start to say, would they be willing to get a bus of people from the parish to go on a bus trip? I mean, from Alabama, you're probably going to stay overnight, but there's so many parishes that hire buses and come from all over. I mean, there's buses come as far as from Kansas all the way to the March for Life. So you can talk to your parish priest to see if they would want to sponsor a bus. And if not, if you can't get to Washington, at least in your parish, they could be doing something that day in your parish to pray for the end to abortion. So maybe your parish could have a special holy hour if you can't get to Washington, praying for the end to abortion. And, of course, you can watch the coverage on EWTN for the March for Life. No one does a better job than EWTN of broadcasting the March for Life. And I tell you, Jack, the numbers have grown over the years because of the coverage that EWTN does on the March for Life.
And if they happen to be out and about in their cars, they can even listen to the coverage on EWTN Radio. Janet Morana, thank you, as you're one of my heroes. You are always not only fighting for the babies day in and day out, but you are at a moment's notice always available to us, and we appreciate it greatly.
Well, I love everyone at EWTN, and thank you for allowing me to be with you. And, of course, email me those addresses so I can give people their books.
We will get you taken care of. On behalf of our host, Janet Morana, our producer, Michael McCall, call screener, Matt Gubensky, I'm and social media maven, Mr. Jeff Burson. I'm Jack Williams. Thanks so much for tuning in. Back at it tomorrow with Father Mitch. Until then, God bless.